Good afternoon, everyone. We are live here. We're going to trade NVDA earnings. Maybe. We'll see what happens. If we're looking at a gamma squeeze, it is possible. We'll see what we get here. Fix this up here. Good. Feeling good. All right. How is everyone doing? If you're unfamiliar with the channel, this is Carnivore Trades. We have an alternate channel here where we usually do the afternoon breakdowns at Gamma Boy. And yeah, we're doing the live here today. I just felt like it would be a good idea. How's it going, Das? Salesforce is out now. I believe they beat... Yeah, they beat revenue and increased buyback. Stock's down a little bit. It still looks like it's up for the day, though. And if you want to take a look, we can do that. What you're seeing on your left here is so I just got NVIDIA locked in to the dynamic dealer gamma. So this will just update as it moves. I'll talk about that in 1 second. If you guys caught the earlier video, I talked about there's some calls at 2:15 that came through. But yeah, Salesforce here 210, 230. It doesn't look like we're going there. So 180 is kind of your GEX support there, and then a little bit at 170, a little bit of a left tail. So if it came down, it's possible that could get hit. But 180 looks pretty solid right now. There's also kind of like pre-market little shelf there from that pop that could get filled out, but overall kind of pedestrian. I do think this stock is like a little bit more important than people. I mean, like the fact that it's like not doing anything, it probably kind of it makes it a dud. But if this thing pumped, for instance, or dumped, that would definitely impact software for sure. So that's why we're looking at that. But NVDA here, you can see just kind of flattening out right now. They usually Big Jensen, excuse me, Big Jenny, as I call him, he usually makes us wait until like 4:25. So I figured we'd start the stream at 4:15. And you can see that JEX there, but we got the whole larger picture down there. 200 LG1 here. I'll put that back up in a second, but I just want to show you this here in case you missed the video I did an hour ago. There is some like call exposure at 215 and 210, and the reason why this now it's not LG1, but what catches my interest here is that so GEX volume, if you're not familiar, it's essentially like it's not the actual like option like contract volume. So the contract volume, for instance, like not so much on this, but there's like 40,000 or there's like 118,000 on that thing today. But like you'll see SPY, for instance, like an out of the money, like $10 out of the money, it's like trading at like 10 cents. Yeah, there might be a lot of actual volume there, but the GEX volume is likely very low because it's not actually forcing the market maker to move at all because it's a 10 cent, option. But in this case, you're seeing those out of the monies like gain a little bit, and that does catch my attention. And we're not really seeing much there for out of the money. I mean, yeah, you do have that 180 we talked about. I mentioned that at the beginning of the week, Sunday night. That would be your kind of downside should that happen. So we'll cover this together. We'll cover a little bit of ES. Shut up, Thinkorswim. I will. Oh, that's right, Snowflake. Okay, thank you, Thinkorswim. How'd Snowflake do? At 163, so nothing terrible. Sorry, I'm all over the place here, but. Yeah, ES here, just to recap, I did trim off like a lot of my exposure here. I had some TQQQ, we had SPXL, we had NQ. I'm out of NQ now just because that rallied so much. And I just kind of trimmed down ES and SPXL and TQQQ. So doing very well for some handsome profits there. And again, I know I'm just pointing it out. Just kind of, if anybody new here, we do have a sale here until midnight Friday in both of our services. And we've done very well here this past week. So we'll see if we can tack on a little bit today. If something happens here. Now, just to recap ES and NQ really quick. NQ like head and shoulders the last couple of days has outperformed ES. We made note of that. I also told you guys over the last week or so that banks have been kind of inching into this, and you know, like they've been buying while retail has been shorting. Right, you can see retail selling, hedge funds kind of selling, and we saw a big change last week in ES. Retail did buy some, hedge funds and banks kind of flipped, but yeah, I've talked about the possibility of a big right tail that traders are not ready for, and I think that is that could be rare. There's a really big. Let me just tell you right now, like if NVDA does, I'm not saying it does, but if it goes to 215, you realize we're going to gap up to 700, right? Like that's where that's where the SPY will open tomorrow, and QQQ. If you want to look at these, I don't even mind giving these out because I don't even care at this point. I don't think it's not gonna matter. But yeah, I mean like 620, 623, 625. These are all right tails for tomorrow. Look at this. So dealers are buyers at every strike here. Deep in the money. Like they're not. I mean, it looks like you got to break 605 to even hope to be in negative gamma, and look at how positive that is. So we are a little hot here, right? The hourly RSI, right? It's a little hot. But one thing I've learned about bull markets, they usually get hot for a reason. And what I was talking about this morning and yesterday is contrary to like popular belief, like you know how it's like, oh, if we pump into this thing, then it means it's to sell the news. Possibly, but that's not necessarily the worst thing though, because now you've improved. Let me just flip. I'll just use ES. I'll use my other ES chart here. But like this one has less lines on it. But like now look at, you've got to the 786 here, right? And we got up to this trend line, right? I talked about the macro targets this morning, 69.55 and then 62 to 64. We hit that. If we sell, yeah, we could literally sell all the way down here and it would, like, you could still be a buy the dip. That's why that positioning is so important. So if NVIDIA like lays an egg, there's areas that could be of interest down here. Or we hold up and then maybe we dip tomorrow. There is some, NQ, there's definitely air right there, right? That's definitely going to get filled out at some point. There's no telling when, but these are levels to watch here. Yeah, first big one down is the blue. And I might engage that. We'll see. I might engage it with you guys here. So the members know like what my game plan is, and I'll be trying to keep an eye on that. Hopefully we get something at least. But we'll see what Big Jenny does. All right, so 424. So usually it comes out pretty like 425, 430. I hope he doesn't make us wait. CRM, Snowflake not doing anything there. All right, I'll pop this back up so we can watch the changes in real time. How's it going, guys? If you guys can, don't forget to like the stream, share it, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Gamma Boy if you haven't already. We'll see what we got. LG1 at 200 on NVIDIA, and we're pretty much hedged positively at every strike here. I would think max downside would be 180 unless something really bad happens. I'm rooting for a dip too. But we'll see. We had last night, that State of the Union stuff, it really felt like intentional. Like it really felt like lockout-esque. And today, pretty much all day was lockout rally style stuff. All right, so 425. Usually out between now and 430. Bitcoin had a nice move today too. All right. So I wish they would actually be forced to report it at a certain time so that we could actually prepare for this. I always hate like setting these things up or for earnings. Nice reversals today on a lot of stuff. CrowdStrike, Microsoft, Netflix had a good one too. Yeah, so they're gonna make us wait till 4:30, I think. Oh. Anybody had any good trades today? And we can go over other charts too if you guys want to. Just let me know. Oh, we'll just wait for this here. It's like always the big ones, Apple and NVDA. Like, oh, we gotta hog the spotlight, make everybody wait. You can't just do it at 4 like everyone else. Right, so 1 minute left here. Looks like NQ continuing to inch up after hours. And yeah, we talked about that 614, 615 right tail this morning. It went past that, went to 617. So that gamma squeezed a little bit. We picked that up earlier this morning when it didn't. When it pulled back here and started going back up, 617 started gaining that open interest. I'm very interested to see how this plays out. Do they dip us or do they just go for it? In about 30 seconds till it's 4:30. So. All right, here we go. Oh man, it's late again here. But they better give us something if it's gonna if they're gonna make us wait this long here. Hopefully we get some sort of volatility. I want to take some trades here, or at least get some sort of volatility. 200 LG1. So that is a magnet. It's gonna be, it's gonna take some sort of external move to push it away from that, above or below. There we go. Finally. ES pumping 69.80. There's 200. 200 tagged. ES coming back in. NQ got to 25,481. Now popping back up. So they beat, wow, they beat by a ton. Yep, so they had a big beat there. There's 200. So we're going to need a pullback here if we're going to take any trades here, though, unfortunately. But if we don't, I'll just watch the show here. And again, I showed you guys those right tail hedges for tomorrow. They are up there. There's 200. You can see, gamma's, it's moving around. If we clear 200, you got a lot up there at 210. But is this market too tired right now after that rally today? And Q moving around. ESM bidding up a little bit as well with that. AMD popping a little here. Broadcom inching up now as well. Yeah, NVIDIA's holding up at 200 so far. So they beat earnings per share by like 8 cents and revenue by like 2 billion. So very good. So far, basically an expected reaction here. I'm going to be disappointed if this is all it is. Especially since they made us wait so damn long. 201. If we can push through that, you can see 210 pretty fast, and then maybe 215. Watch that GEX there. So this line right there that I'm pointing at, that starts going up to the right. Telling us that we're going to go higher. The way I would dissect this right now, though, is if we just sit here and pin to 200, you'll get your pullback tomorrow morning. If this just pins here or settles around here. So a little disappointing so far. I already have levels worked out on ES and NQ here for any sort of pullback here, but I don't know if we're going to get that right now. This looks like a pretty standardized pin here to 200, unfortunately. Doesn't seem anybody really cares either, so. So 200, 201, 201.50. ES popped to 69.82 and actually went to, so it went to the upper blue line there. So pretty nice move. Again, I've de-risked a lot of my stuff here, but I think this is what you call bears dropping the ball right now. Really just the last 2 days. And, we talked about this yesterday and today. So 202.50. Let's see if it inches up. Watch that 210. Yeah, looks like CoreWeave starting to inch up with it, and it's CoreWeave popping back above 100. AMD, Broadcom about to make a new high. 330, about to 336. That would be a new high of the day. Yeah, even Microsoft inching up right now. TSM huge bid, 392 now. TSM, that's new all-time high, just about another $1 or so. But so far, yeah, doesn't look like it's enough to unpin us from 200 here, unless Jensen says something in the earnings call. So I would think right now, yeah, I would think right now this is probably about it, and we're gonna see some sort of a like honestly like probably some sort of a dip tomorrow morning if we don't really push through here. So overall, pretty boring stuff here, unfortunately. If you guys got any charts you want to go over, let me know. I guess this just gets us off the hook. I was hoping we get some volatility so I could, take some trades here on the public channel, or at least, maybe throw out one idea. But yeah, that's what it is. How's Salesforce? Not even doing anything. Snowflake inching back up here. So. Yeah, I'm wondering if are we having latency issues here? Everybody can hear me okay? But anyway, so yeah, if that's it, if nobody else has anything, I don't know. Are we getting latency problems? I think we are. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, okay. So I'm hearing from Discord that we're okay. So that's why I can't see your guys' comments right now, unfortunately. That's why I was gonna say like this is kind of all right. Well, thank you, YouTube. This is why I don't do public streams on here that much anymore. Um, yeah, Ben. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I can see if somebody's in the Discord, you guys can ask me, and I'll go over charts there. I don't know if we can. I can't refresh this here, so or they'll probably all come in at once. All right, I just tried refreshing this here. Maybe that'll work here. Okay, yeah, there's okay, you guys. I'm sorry here. There are we going now? Okay, there we go. All right, I tried to restart that module. Okay. Silver. All right, silver. Let's cover silver. I was like, dude, there's no way you guys are like not talking to me right now here. All right. Yeah, silver had a good move. Yeah, still let me put my moving averages back on. I'm still thinking 95. It almost got to the 50% today. I know it's like 100 is like the 618, but I'm just going off of SLV. Let me know if you guys can comment again. You should be able to now, hopefully. But if not, I'll just read you guys in the Discord. But yeah, 85 is kind of where we're looking at for Friday. Let me just pull it up for you. There we go. Yep. So 80 is still kind of LG1, but if this can hold, we'll see how this converts to OI. It might go to 85 if it gains some steam here. I'm still bullish short term on it. I still think now, just pointing it out. I mentioned this like I think it was like last night, but just so you know, the monthly like RSI on this is still at like 92. So like this is a short term kind of bull move here we're looking for, but in the big picture, it's just still gonna have to tighten up a lot. Okay, I see some comments coming in. Yeah, I see you guys coming in here, but all right, let me know any other charts you want to go over. If you're in the Discord, if you got it, it looks like it kind of worked here. See if the chat works now. But either way, for the markets here, yeah, kind of a dud, unfortunately. I was hoping this would like actually give us some action here to cover, but yeah, not really unpinning from 200, is it? Yeah. QBTS, yeah, we can do QBTS. Oh, somebody asked about this earlier. Yeah, it looks a lot better, doesn't it? So does rigatoni. So we got that, possible little higher low there. Um, yeah, went into support right there, and yeah, I think this can get a little bid. I'd like to see it follow through here though. Now that you have that like momentum created, so I want to see it like reattack that 200 and maybe the 50 MA here shortly. I don't want to see it spend a ton of time down here. And then you had like RGTI. Yeah, that one curled up nicely too. I like how it's closing 1797. So it almost closed above that high. That's good. It's up nicely after hours. Look at this, up after hours here. I think QBTS is too. Yeah, even like, yeah, I was just mentioning like AMD coming back in, but Broadcom, TSM, yep, new all-time high on TSM. So yeah, some of these stocks have firmed up here. Camweave, yeah, Core Scam, popping to 100. This, I still really like how this is set up. They have earnings tomorrow. Maybe like I could see it falling back to 90 if it doesn't work out. But there's a giant right tail in this that's way bigger than anything in the NQ or NVDA for that matter. Yeah, MP. This is still pretty constructive here. I like how it's tightening out. So we had that big pop, right? And then now it's kind of tightening up here. Let me see, like you almost got almost kind of like a little falling wedge type kind of deal. Not the cleanest, but it's definitely popping above that trend line there. Again, want to see some follow through there, but yeah, it looks good. I like how it's kind of working off. Like it got so overbought, like on the weekly. This is ridiculous. So, but it's consolidating up here. You want to see just stay. Probably needs a little bit more time. I mean, it's like 5x right there, so it probably needs a little bit more time, but it's holding up well here. It came off the highs today, but it's still closed up and above that trend line there. Oil 65.50. Oil. So a lot of the geopol stuff is like cooled off. I think a lot of that was, again, a lot of the reason why we rallied during State of the Union is because there was like no mention of like we're gonna go to Iran right now. It seemed more diplomatic. With that said, oil down 17 basis points. That's still pretty strong. So I don't think Iran or no Iran. I think oil is in good shape here. It's rallying, right? There's a lot of shorts in it, and it's not getting overbought. And when it pops, it consolidates, right? It's flagging. So I think this is in good shape here. If we do get peace news deal, is it going to sell? Yeah, of course it's going to. But we got to watch the reaction there because that could be a dip buy depending on if and when and how that happens. I do think though, just while we're talking about oil, XLE like energy stocks, they might stall out here. I think this would be consolidation for buying. There's XOP. I would love it if they could give us a dip in XOP here, like a retest. And then OIH that just doesn't. I wish I bought more of this. I'm still holding some, but I wish I bought more. But I mean, look at this. This is just like an algorithmic. This is just repricing. That's just being repriced higher. But that said, if XLK starts to gain on XLE, which it did right here, you might see a little bit of rotation out. But I think it would be, that would be a dip for buying. Yeah, Rocket. James here. It's, honestly, I know it kind of like broke this trend line here, but it's not the worst thing here. Usually the third head of a trend line's a pierce anyway. I kind of like this. Just don't lose that low from yesterday. In fact, if anything, that's kind of like, it's almost like a failed breakdown right there. But just on a daily chart. So I'm going to say that's not bad here. I'm just curious. Little divergence there, bull divergence there on the RSI. So yeah, there might be a play here. It's hard. You got, if it pops like tomorrow or the next couple days, like $19 is going to be resistance with that 120 moving average there, and then obviously the whole even number at 20. But yeah, that's not a bad little setup there. I like that it pierced that trend line too. I do. So that's not too bad. Funny, these guys aren't really going down that much with the software stuff. I mean, they're down a little bit, but not a ton. I mean, okay, it is down like 30%, but relatively speaking, for a $24 stock, 30% is not that big a deal. What do we got here? NVDA back to 200. You'll get your dip tomorrow morning. We'll get a dip tomorrow morning. And we'll be ready to trade that for sure. So bears here, this is your last stand. Like, you have to absolutely barf this tape tomorrow. I mean, I want to see 68, 60 tomorrow, and possibly even lower than that. If for bears, if you're in control, like if it's a sell the news, like, you should be able to close us below today's low at least, and wipe out this whole rally here for the last 2 days. But you kind of already, right? I mean, we kind of already blew past the 786, right? Not kind of, like we did. So I don't know. It doesn't look too good here. All right. Well, anyway, we'll wrap it up here. Thanks for coming out, guys. Sorry that the chat wasn't working. I was like, dude, there's no way that nobody's talking right now. As I know you guys are in here, but yeah, NVDA at 200, and we'll see what we get tomorrow. If you guys want to trade it with us, there's be another chance to get into this before it really locks people out, I think. But yeah, check out the new channel. Subscribe to that. Do the 4 p.m. wrap up and all that there. And yeah, come join us. A lot of fun. Looking forward to see you guys. So anyways, you guys take care. Have a great afternoon.